My name is Renette Hartridge with the Selous Safari Company, and it's my pleasure to present to you today. A South African with a 30-year history in the luxury high-end Africa travel sales. And the Selous Safari Company has been operating remote off-the-beaten-track safaris to the south of Tanzania for close to 30 years now. Excuse me. And the destinations where we have safari lodges and a beautiful island is in the south of Tanzania. So in the Ruaha National Park, the Nyerere National Park, formerly known as the Selous, and also in the Songo Songo Archipelago, we have Fanjovi Island. So these three destinations, the Ruaha National Park, the Nyerere National Park, and the Songo Songo Archipelago form the destinations where we have our camps. And just to sort of put it into context, most first-time guests to East Africa would request the really well-known areas, you know, like the Serengeti and the Ngorongoro crater. So this is really a great destination for someone looking off the beaten track, less people volume, you know, probably a second or a third time visitor to Africa. And also to mention that that the south is quite well combined with the north on a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Tanzania. So you could very easily do the Serengeti, the Ngorongoro crater, and then come to the south, and then do perhaps Fanjovi Island as a beach break thereafter. Just a couple of suggestions. So emphasis on off the beaten track. And let's start with the Nyerere National Park, the Selous, which was formerly known as the Selous Game Reserve. So the Nyerere National Park 2 years ago was reproclaimed a national park. It used to be called the Selous Game Reserve, hence our name legacy. And that's also one of the reasons why we'll be changing our branding and our name in the near future, is because actually the park is no longer called the Selous Game Reserve. So we will be updating that along with all the improvements and enhancements being made to the product and also the experience for our guests. So Siwandu in the Nyerere National Park, your guests fly into Mere Airstrip, and from here it is a game drive to Lake Nzerakera, where we have 13 tented suites overlooking Lake Nzerakera. And this waterway here, the Rufiji River confluence, is what we traverse on when your guests are at Siwandu. So the beauty of Siwandu is that it's a land and water-based safari experience for your guests. And that includes excursions on the lake itself, and also motorboat safaris all the way up the confluence to the Rufiji River. So really super exciting adventure experience. So Siwandu is currently in the process of being refurbished beautifully. This is the new images of our central relaxation area. It's an elevated platform overlooking the lake, where we have a cocktail bar and we have meals, lunches. Dinners typically are around the campfire. So just to give it a bit of a sense of that, 13 lakeside lakeview tents. And at Siwandu, the Nyerere National Park, we do a combination of game drives, walking safaris for your clients, as well as the water experiences, which are pontoon lunches and also motorboat safaris. You can also do catch and release fishing, which is super exciting with crocodiles and hippopotamus in the distance. So we really recommend that for your clients as well.
I think it's also important to mention here, if we can go back to the previous slide, the one thing that sort of sets both Selous and Ruaha and these areas apart is that the only other place in East Africa where you'll do walking safaris would be on private concessions. And in general, those will be with game rangers. Very high-end, unique experiences. What's really different here is it's similar to that very authentic Zambian experience, where you do the walking safari and you're literally the only people walking in 100,000 hectare area, and you're the closest to nature you cannot comprehend until you've done it the first time. And the feedback that we see from guests that have done the walking safaris, they just realize that there's something so much bigger than just the big five or just the migration. Just because of that pure authenticness of being in nature and actually walking, not being in a vehicle, being exposed to the elements, exposed to animals. So it's really a unique experience that you find in these southern parts.
100% agree, and I've got some lovely images to show you of our walking safaris in a minute. And thank you for highlighting that. You're absolutely right. The walking safari is the ultimate adrenaline rush because you're on foot in big 5 terrain, and yet your eye is drawn to the smaller features, the smells, the sights, the sounds. There's not the engine noise going, so you're really immersed in nature on foot, and you have a chance to experience things really up close and personal. So all 13 tents at Siwandu have just been refurbished, really, really beautifully to a much higher standard. The tents have wraparound decks in the front and in the back, and beautiful views of Lake Nzerakera at sunset, sunrise. Onto the experiences. So the pontoon lunches is something that we do as like a surprise, or you can also keep it as a surprise for your guests when they arrive. They'll be invited to go out onto the pontoon, and then lunch is actually served and prepared on board, which is a really lovely experience. And I have this image of the crocodile brioche bread, which is just, it cracks me up every time I see it. It's just so well done, and it is actually delicious brioche bread. Really fresh food and meals that they prepare in this far remote area of Africa. So a great experience on the boat. It's good fun. Hour and a half excursion on the boat. And always within eye line of crocodiles and hippo all around. So really exciting experience. Then one of the things that we do is the motorboat safari, quite a distance on Lake Nzerakera, and then all the way up to the confluence of the Rufiji River. And the Nyerere National Park, since it was reproclaimed a national park, had extra resources. And so the wildlife has had a chance to really recover well from previous years. Large packs, large herds, large prides. The only species that is there, but is we can't really create expectations of seeing, is rhino. But you'll see all species in abundance in big prides and herds. And that's also one of the reasons why we recommend at least 3 nights on a safari in any destination, really, just to give yourself 6 chances to be on a safari activity and to get to see all those species, because you might not see them on 1 or 2 game drives, but your odds are better if you have them over 4 or 6 wildlife experiences. On to Jongomero in the Ruaha National Park. So even more remote than the Nyerere is the Ruaha National Park. And the lifeline of this park is the Great Ruaha River. And Jongomero, for whom we named, is a tributary that is a seasonal river, usually in flow the end of the year, the beginning of the year. And right now it's in flow. So some orientation. Jongomero has an airstrip very close to camp, 10 minutes from camp, which makes the access super easy. And really, the key thing about Jongomero is really the seclusion, because we're here in the south, no other camps for miles. Literally, this it's like 3 hours, 4 hours to the north by game drive vehicle, slow game drive vehicle. So my point is, when we are traversing in this area along the river confluence, you might not even come across a vehicle from our camp, let alone vehicles from other camps. So you really have that sense of an exclusive safari. And at Jongomero, all our vehicles are 4-seaters. So super exclusive, super secluded game drive experiences. I mentioned the Jongomero River is a seasonal river. So really for most of the year, for all intents and purposes, it should be sold as a camp on a dry riverbed. However, that doesn't sound very exciting, but it is exciting because the animals use the river as a highway, and there is still water. You just scoop a few handfuls and there is water in this riverbed. So animals are always busy foraging and seeking water in this river. There's always some activity right in front of camp. This is our room, our pool area, which has just been refurbished. I have more images of that for you. And the central relaxation area that's also been beautifully refurbished. And at Jongomero, so we have 10 tents and 1 brand new epic Jongomero suite, which I'll show you. I just received the photographs this morning, so I was super excited to be able to include them for you today. But here we do 2 activities. So the off the beaten track game drives, and also the walking safaris, which typically are in the middle of the year, June to early December, for the reason being the bush is less dense, it's drier, and it's safer to do the walking safaris for us. We also have an option of doing a walk where you then end into a camping experience. So for example, your kit and your luggage will be left in the suite, but you'll do a small overnight rucksack, go for the walking safari, end up in a campsite, typically along the river, what we've already set up for your clients, and then walk back the next day. So there's degrees of adventure that you can tap into for your clients at Jongamero. Just to be clear, the camping is not glamping. It's pretty basic. So not for everyone, but certainly for someone who's up for some adventure on foot and then sleeping under the stars. So here we have the refurbished tent at Jongamero, one of the 10 tents. Beautifully refurbished, the bathrooms rebuilt. So 10 suites, and then we have the Jongamero Bush Manor, which is pure decadence. So it has a 12-meter lap pool. Just by the way, this is just still in the process of being finished. So the landscaping and the vegetation will catch up by the time that we're open in June of this year. So we close from the 15th of March to the 1st of June every year, because it is our rainy season. And then by then, the vegetation will be looking quite different. But to give you an idea, so we have the lap pool, and then the 2 identical suites with the interconnecting relaxation area, which is a bar lounge area, as well as a kitchen, open plan kitchen. So super exciting to see the chef there preparing meals for guests to the exclusive use Jongamero Bush Manor. And when your clients are booked here, they have the private chef, the private vehicle, the private guides, the private guards, the whole thing. And there's a private access to the left of camp, which means that these guests don't have to see any other guests if they don't want to. They can literally feel like they're in this secluded area, all exclusive to themselves. And then on the walking safari, just to point out that we always have our walking specialist guides, as well as the TANAPA, that's the Tanzania Wildlife Authority guides. We always have one of them with us as well, and then our group, depending on the size of the group. So you would typically start out early morning on foot and spend a good 2-3 hours walking just before it gets too warm. And it really gives a chance for the guides to show animal tracks, point out vegetation, bird life, interesting sights and sounds that you'll see while you're on foot, and always with the adrenaline rush of knowing that, around any corner there could be a predator or an elephant. So super exciting experience, which usually ends then in a bush breakfast banquet. Quite a fun thing to do, not too far from camp. So after breakfast, it's back to camp. So in the Great Ruaha River, lots of hippo, lots of crocs. So typically that's great sightings on the riverbanks to experience. And as I mentioned, the 4-seater safari vehicles, which really are a very nice exclusive feature at Jongamero. So onto the grand finale for the Selous Safari Company, which is Fanjobi Island in the Songo Songo archipelago. Quite a tongue twister. There are 6 islands in the Songo Songo archipelago, and we're one of the most southern of those. This island takes an hour to walk around, so super tiny, and it's an uninhabited island. So it's literally the staff village, staff complement, and also the guests to the island. And in November of this year, we relaunched this island. We've been getting really good feedback from our initial guests. I was lucky to go and experience the island, and DMCs have been through, tour operators have been through. We're getting really good feedback, really off the charts, incredible feedback. So let me show Fanjobi Island. So typically your clients would arrive, would fly, from Dar es Salaam to Mafia Island, which is 45 minutes by plane, along the coast. So it's a beautiful flight, almost like a Maldivian low altitude flight. It's over water, you can see the islands. So 45-minute flight. The flight lands on Mafia Island. Guests from Mafia Island decant, disembark, and then the flight continues to Fanjobi, a 10-minute flight, where you get a tuk-tuk, which is a little bike which takes a couple of guests and the luggage off to the pier, and then from there we get a boat transfer to the island, which is 45-minute transfer, and it's all, you know, super exciting. This is the nature of travel to a remote destination, and it makes it a lot of fun as well. And then as you start approaching the island, the most iconic thing is the lighthouse, which is a 19th century World War I German lighthouse that we have restored, but we've enhanced it by making it our wow factor restaurant. And the view from the lighthouse and from the restaurant is sunset. So it's really epic. What you can see here is the lighthouse restaurant, and then this is our barefoot cocktail bar relaxation area, the dive center, and then the suites are all to the round and to the back of the island. So some key features is that there are 10 villas, 10 beach villas. So when you open the beautiful ornate carved wooden doors, the windows, obviously the windows can be closed, but those are open, roll down blinds, but they're open for great elevation, for sea breezes, and the windows all wrap around. To the front of the beach villa is 2 hammocks that are bookended with a day bed in the middle. So you have this deck, the 2 hammocks and the day bed, and then you come through and open the door into your suite, and into the back, this view. So it's the front view with the hammocks, and in the back of the villa is the reclaimed coral, which we used from the previous infrastructure. Excuse me. And you actually have 2 excuse me, 2 showers and a twin basin. So to the right here is a twin basin. This is the alfresco shower, and then there's a covered shower as well and a bathroom, but also completely open on the sides, alfresco, to let the island views in. And you can also see from the decor, it's deliberately done super elegant, you know, with phone chargers, etc. There's a mini bar, ceiling fan, but understated elegance, just to lead the eyes to the beautiful big blue view and the palm views. Okay, so just a few key factors. The beach villas are 132 square meters, and they have the hammocks, the day beds, and also, I don't have a photograph. We're literally, please bear with, we're literally getting professional imagery back from a team that's just been to the island. But each, apart from that beautiful beach villa you just saw, and the day bed and the hammocks, just to the front on the beach is a beach pavilion with shading and 2 sunbeds as well. So you have the sunbeds shaded, and then the beach, the beautiful beach villa as well, spacious beach villa. Just included in the rate is kayaking, SUP, snorkeling, a dhow sail at sunset, a marine safari excursion, and either a sandbank excursion or a picnic on the beach, depending on the seasons. The only 2 things that are excluded, transfers are included as well, meals, drinks are included as well. The only thing that's excluded is fishing and diving, purely because not everyone does those activities. So we have we've separated that from the inclusion. We have a 11-kilometer house reef with excellent visibility and 28 degrees warm water, which is, I mean, it's lovely. You literally wade into the water and it's mostly warm, lukewarmish. So most people like that. Also, you can snorkel from the beach, just wade in and snorkel. The reef, 11-kilometer house reef surrounding the island. The best spots are in front of the lighthouse and the alfresco cocktail bar area. That would be like a 10-minute swim from the beach to this reef, which you're seeing now. But we can also take your clients to the reef and just drop them into snorkel. So we have the diving is available. We can't do lessons, but we do have a master. But we don't. But we can't do lessons at Van Jobs. They already have to be qualified divers to dive here. A very fun activity is the beautiful dhow sail, traditional dhow sail cocktail sundowner excursion. Just a gentle, quiet pace, just the sound of the wind in the sails and that golden sunset light that just bathes you. It's just a really blissful experience to experience when you're on the island. So I mentioned the sandbank excursions and or a beach picnic. So we would boat out to the sandbanks area, fish and barbecue, and put a lunch on for your clients, and then come back. So that would be an exclusive activity for your clients. So very nice to experience, especially for those celebrating a special occasion. So we're still tweaking the messaging around this island as it's just being finished, and we're changing the branding and everything. But to give an idea, it really is the ultimate Robinson Crusoe experience. You know, barefoot, but luxury, creature comfort, ceiling fans, hot water, ice cold drinks, incredible food, and a minimum stay here for a recommendation would be 4 nights, and just for the reason being, and actually you could easily stay on Fanjobi for 7 nights. There's just so much to do and relax as well. You could easily do a 7-night beach day or less in combination with the safari. So from the lighthouse, you have this epic view of the island. If you were to go to the top of the lighthouse, it's a really great view and a really great spot for sundowners up in the lighthouse. And I mentioned that we've converted the lighthouse now into a destination restaurant. It's really beautiful. So we do lunches and breakfasts, and sometimes dinners too. But we also do beach bonfire barbecues and dinner with your toes in the sand. So really, really nice experience, making use of all the vantage points on the island. But the restaurant itself is really incredible. It's just, like I said, brand spanking new, beautifully decorated, but again, subtly, elegantly, just to lead the eye out to the beautiful, beautiful big blue out there. And that, in a nutshell, is my presentation. Just to say, you know, if you have any questions, please let me know. I will be sharing the presentation, the fact sheet, the special offers, the pay-stay offers, in follow-up with Monet for him to share with you. There's always a deal. There's always a deal. Our rates are low season all year round, so common rated. Not low season. Our rates are common rated, 1 rate all year round. So there's no seasonality in terms of the rates, and we're open from the 1st of June to the 15th of March. And we'd love to welcome your guests to Siwandu, Jongomero, and Fanjobi. So that would be a great circuit to book. For example, 2 nights Jongomero, 2 nights Siwandu, and then 3 nights on Fanjobi Island. But I would also actually recommend 3 nights at Siwandu, just because there's more to do with the water activities on Siwandu. So thank you very much for listening and paying attention. And I hope it's enthused you to support us through Monet, who is a good supporter and has in a really good position to make your quotes very competitive with us. So look forward to welcoming you and your guests to the Selous Safari Company. Thank you for today.